Welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic, and today, as we watch my solve, rather than talking about the individual clues so much, I'm going to talk about an elephant in the room, which is difficult words and literary knowledge. Now, a lot of the reason that a lot of times that somebody gives me a reason for not attempting the Times Cryptic, it's because they think that it contains an awful lot of extreme knowledge or classical education stuff or things that people just don't know normally, and that it's therefore a kind of specialized and rarefied art for boffins. I wish I could say that that was entirely not true. However, the extent to which it's not true is quite significant. Now, 18 across here, sneaky blighter, I'm a con, and I've very quickly, when I was solving that, written in the answer thimble rig. Now, that's kind of giving the lie to what I just said. Thimble rig is not a word that anybody uses these days. Crossword solvers might have come across it, as I have, probably because it's quite an amusing construction. Like, it's just a nice idea that an old con, I think it kind of refers to a 3-card trick or something hidden under thimbles, and somebody rigging them up to con somebody. So it's a word I've come across. I'm sure I've only come across it in crosswords. Thimble rigger has appeared several times, I think, as the con artist. And the point is, the clue there was an anagram of blighter I'm, and you could solve it, especially once you had, even if you didn't know the word, especially once you had some of the checking letters, like the T at the start and the B. Thimble might come to mind. You might be wondering if it was Trimble Hig, but Thimble Rig seems a bit more likely. So you can get there, but certainly there is no doubt that if you happen to know the word, then you could solve it quickly, and that's a huge advance in doing the crossword. Like, to put in a hard word fast is a big difference in terms of solving time. That said, you know, we're looking at the rest of the grid. There haven't been that many extreme words. Finally, at 5 down, there's a kind of nod to classical knowledge with the ancient region of Lydia. I do know that there are solvers like Tony Sever, who's previously won the Times Crossword Championship, who would really welcome a return to the very old days where the whole puzzle was a test of classical education and kind of public school knowledge. There'd be a lot of Latin references, mythology, literature, and especially quotation clues, which I think got outlawed some 35 or 40 years ago now, where that whole clue would be a quotation with a blank in it, and there was no extra wordplay to help you get it if you didn't know the quotation. All you could possibly get was letters in the grid to help you make an assumption. So those things have gone, and this sort of puzzle, even though this does have thimble rig, it's got galumphed in it, belladonna and Lydia, you might not know those words unless you'd come across them before for some reason. But even the classical people who know Lydia and belladonna instantly, they might not know megaflop at 6 down from computing now, or tanga, which is going to come in at 28 across, a more modern piece of clothing, if one can even call it that. So there is something for everybody. There are ways to get the answers when you don't know them, but it can't be denied that knowing a few things, having a very... I always describe my general knowledge as wide but not deep. I don't know much about anything, but I've heard the word megaflop. I didn't know what it meant. I've heard of a tanga. I do know what that is. I've come across thimble rig and Lydia, and I guess Belgian waffle wasn't a surprise. Probably the only nod to literature here is Lilliputian at 12 down, and even that is not something that you have to be very literary to know the word. So there are ways to get there, and it can't be denied that speed is helped by knowing the words before. So that's the lesson for today. It's maybe not an easy one to learn, but there again, the puzzle does to some extent benefit knowledge, and that's probably what you don't get in the quick cryptic. And personally, I think it makes the experience richer. So that's the background, and thank you very much for watching. Hope to see you again soon.